Well, we can go live now to Martha's Vineyard in the state of Massachusetts, where we're joined by Alan Dershowitz, the Harvard law professor emeritus who served on Donald Trump's legal team during the Senate impeachment trial. Alan Dershowitz, thank you very much indeed for being with us. Let's talk first of all about the president. What grounds do you see following Wednesday's events for legal action against the president?
Not only are there no constitutional grounds, but it would absolutely destroy the Constitution were he to be impeached for making a constitutionally protected speech. The speech he made was completely protected by the First Amendment. It was not a high crime or a misdemeanor or treason or bribery. There will be no trial of President Trump. The House could impeach him. All they need to do is get a majority of votes to impeach him without giving him an opportunity to be heard, without his lawyers being able to present their First Amendment defenses. It would be just a political act, a weaponization of the Constitution. And in fact, Pelosi and Schumer would do more harm to the Constitution than the thugs who invaded the Congress the other day. That was a one-day incident. It was over. The Constitution won. But Pelosi and Schumer now want to distort the Constitution and destroy it by compromising the First Amendment, compromising the 25th Amendment, and compromising the criteria for impeachment. It will fail.
Well, their argument, of course, is that the president incited insurrection, and he also incited damaging of national monuments, desecration of national monuments, against which he himself introduced tougher laws.
Right. But there are definitions of incitement. This doesn't even come close to incitement. This is much more like what's happened so many times with civil rights demonstrations that got out of hand, union demonstrations that got out of hand, other demonstrations that got out of hand. Those are not incitements. I have defended many people, speakers who have been charged. We've won every single case when a speaker is charged with making a speech and they claim that he incited a riot. The First Amendment protects speeches. Incitement means calling directly on people to engage in illegal activity. You can parse every word of the president's speech, and there is no incitement whatsoever. It would
march on Congress. Is that asking people to march on Congress? Could that not be judged to be incitement?
Perfectly entitled. People are asked to march on the Supreme Court, to march on Congress, to march on the state legislatures. It happens all the time. Marching on Congress is constitutionally protected. Breaking into Congress is not constitutionally protected. But the president didn't even come close to committing an impeachable offense. And I think everybody knows that. What they're doing is just using their power. They're trying to weaponize the Constitution in a partisan manner. Today it's used against Trump. Tomorrow it will be used against a Democratic president or a Democratic senator or some other member of Congress, because a weapon once deployed can never be put back. And the precedent would be a terrible one, condemning a president to impeachment for making a speech that many of us disagree with. It's not a speech that I think he should have made. And it's not a speech I would have advised him to make. I'm a liberal Democrat. I voted for Hillary Clinton. I'm not here in a partisan defense. I'm here to defend the Constitution. And the Constitution is broken, and we should be trying to fix it.
Republican Senator Ben Sasse, he has said that he might be minded to support impeaching the president or convicting the president because he says, quotes, the president has disregarded the oaths of office.
That's not a grounds for impeachment. That's not in the Constitution. It could easily have been put in the Constitution. It's not there. Look, President Trump, when he was subject to impeachment, and I argued his case on the Senate, there was a Republican who voted for his removal, the senator from Utah. Now you'll have maybe a half a dozen others. But to remove a president, you need 2/3 of the Senate, and they won't even come close to that. They know that. They don't even want to put him on trial in the Senate. They just want to impeach him, which is like indicting somebody and not bringing him to trial. That, too, violates civil liberties and human rights. You can't indict unless you intend to try. And if the House were to impeach without actually sending the articles of impeachment to the Senate, it would again be another violation of the Constitution. The Constitution is in great danger today, not from the rioters. They lost. The Constitution is in great danger from the leaders of the Democratic Party and some Republicans.
What charges do you think can and should be brought against the rioters, or at least those people involved in violence or seen to have breached the perimeter and committed damage inside the Congress?
There are three groups. Those that legitimately stood outside of the Congress, they did nothing wrong, they're constitutionally protected. Those that trespassed should probably be prosecuted for trespass, not particularly serious crime. But those who went on the floor of the Senate, those who destroyed property, those who may have been responsible for killing a police officer should be prosecuted to the extent of the law. And anybody who incited them to do it in the crowd should be prosecuted. But speakers who make general speeches protesting an election should not be prosecuted. Thomas Jefferson wrote about that in 1801. I have his letter hanging on the wall of my office saying you don't go after the speaker, you go after the actor. You go after the people who committed the violence, not the people who made the speech. The First Amendment is just too important.